Welcome back to my little channel. Now, you may have noticed that the Netherlands had its national elections a few days ago. This was a big deal apparently because everyone in the world, from left to right, were singing praise or condemnations on what would happen in the Netherlands. Because, well, we had the Brexit and then there was Trump, so the world was afraid that we would now have Geert Wilders winning the national elections in the Netherlands. And the media and left-wing politicians would love to tell you how that did not happen. But didn't it? Okay, fair point is fair point. The PVV of Geert Wilders is not the biggest party in the Netherlands. The biggest party in the Netherlands is still the VVD. But did the PVV then lose? Well, that's a very simple question, and the answer to that is no. The PVV did not lose. They didn't become the biggest party, but then again, most people didn't think that would happen, especially after how Prime Minister Rutte spoke to Erdogan when he tried to force his politicians into the Netherlands to do his election thingy, which Rutte stood up against. Which was a good thing, don't get me wrong, I totally agree with that, but I'm wondering if he would have done that if there wouldn't have been a PVV. And a lot of people seem to wonder the same thing. How do I say this? Why do I say this? Do I know this? Well, yes, because what we have seen is that the PVV is a one-issue party, and the fact that it got as many votes as it did is already a small miracle. But the more important thing is that other political parties are now sharing some of the PVV's viewpoints. So there is that. And being the second party with 20 places in the Tweede Kamer, that's not small at all. The biggest party, however, still the VVD, is at 33 seats. So yeah, they're still bigger than the PVV. Fair enough, but then again, did PVV really lose? No, they gained seats. Gaining something isn't losing. I mean, if we look at the PvdA, which is, together with the VVD, a government party that were ruling the Netherlands, they lost. They lost massively, as you can see in the chart. But why then do we keep hearing how the PVV lost? In all fairness, it's a little bit difficult to answer that question without going into I think or I feel answers. I do, however, feel that the media is trying to portray us a picture that the world is going back to its everyday status quo normal order. I mean, Trump, yeah, that was a fluke. Brexit, no, definitely a fluke. But we're back to being all right. But we're not. Well, but Wilders is a right-wing extremist. I mean, the people in the Netherlands have spoken out against right-wing extremists, haven't they? Well, no, they haven't. I mean, 20 seats is not a small thing, and you can say what you want of Geert Wilders. I think he's an idiot too. But you can't claim he's a right-wing extremist. If anything, he is as much a liberal as the VVD, PvdA, or CDA is. Or, well, actually, all of them. The only thing that he does different is that he has a problem with Islam. And a lot of the other political parties are slowly starting to talk in this direction too. No one likes to mention that though. But it's very weird that the PVV was looking to become the biggest party in the Netherlands until Erdogan tried to force his politicians into the Netherlands and Rutte had to stand up and say, no, you're not welcome now. There is no big deal here other than that Rutte finally spoke out for the Netherlands instead of speaking out for foreign politicians of Islam. But is Islam then this big an issue? I don't really know. I think it could be, but it doesn't have to be. Don't forget that the burgemeester, the mayor of Rotterdam, is a Muslim himself. And he basically pulled the government's line in saying, okay, you came to the Netherlands, you're not welcome here. You have to leave. Yeah, but we're Turkish. I don't care. You're not welcome. You have to leave. But we are Muslim. So are you. I don't care. I'm the mayor of Rotterdam, the city of the Netherlands that you are now in unwelcomely. You have to leave. So, in any way, this shows that Islam in itself might be an issue for some people, but it doesn't have to be for everyone because, as I said, the mayor of Rotterdam is a Muslim and he is a great mayor. People applaud him. Well, they were applauding him before this happened as well. But then again, he's not part of the international or the national election thingy. He's just the mayor of Rotterdam. The thing is, I'm sidetracking here, I shouldn't. Did the PVV then influence our current society? The answer to that again is, well, yes. It's difficult to say that the world is being influenced by the PVV or the PVV is being influenced by the world. I mean, politics and reality have a lot of touching fields. But you cannot ever claim that, well, the Dutch people only hate Muslims because of the PVV. Nor can you ever say, well, the PVV started to talk about Islam because Dutch people hated Islam. It's not as simple as that. People oversimplifying it are part of the problem. And now other political parties are seeing this too. So now it's more likely that people will say, okay, Muslim in itself, they're not the problem. Some of them are. Islam in itself is not a problem. But some people following Islam are the problem. The fact that this nuance is now being spoken out, I can claim we have to thank the PVV for. And again, I don't totally agree with the PVV. I mean, I think they have no nuance and they're over the top in their dislike for Islam. But I cannot argue the fact that they have a value point. And this is something that the Dutch government is now recognizing. Well, the Dutch politicians are now recognizing. Government in itself is nothing, so government isn't recognizing a thing. But Dutch politicians are recognizing this. And they are trying to make discussions more open. Even though they try to ignore the PVV, they are starting discussions. The fact that we have a Muslim a Muslim mayor of Rotterdam isn't an accident. We've had Muslims in high political powers before, and these were good people. The fact that they were Muslim isn't a problem. But there are Muslims that are bad people. They want Sharia, they misbehave. This is a problem. The problem in itself isn't Islam. The problem is people behaving according to Sharia. But most Muslims are not behind this either. This is a nuance Geert Wilders, for some reason, can't show. Maybe he can't, maybe he won't, I don't know. He doesn't anyway. But our politicians are picking up on that nuance. Knowing then that other politicians are now speaking on being stricter on the rules when it comes to people misbehaving within a certain culture, can we then really claim that the PVV has lost? Because this is the only thing they ever said. All the other things, they're as left-wing as the next one. They're in favor of social health care, they're in favor of a social state, but they're not in favor of people misbehaving. And they claim that being part of a religion is part of misbehaving, but that's an unnuanced view. If you look at it further, you can see that being a Muslim in itself is not a problem. This is why other political parties are now recognizing that there is a problem with refugees, immigrants, and people from a certain category within the Netherlands, and they are pointing out these problems. Problems that 8 years ago Geert Wilders got attacked over, that he pointed them out, are now being pointed out by the PvdA, CDA and VVD. So can we then honestly say PVV has lost? The only thing we can say is that they haven't become the biggest party. And for that I am grateful, because I have no idea how the hell they would govern the Netherlands. Because they don't have a plan. Their plan is keep everything as it keeps going, Muslims out. That's not a plan. That's not a plan. There is no tomorrow in that plan. Are the other political parties any better? Well, maybe. I don't think so, to be honest. But hey, that's politics for you. But next time when someone tells you that the PVV lost in the Netherlands, point them to this video. And remember that in the Netherlands, you do not have to be the biggest one to win. Now, the next government will most likely not have the PVV in it, and they will most likely be in the opposition again. But thank God for that, because they're not a governing party. They don't have an idea other than we want Muslims out. And that idea in itself is simply not good enough. You can't compare Brexit or Trump with Geert Wilders. If anything, you could say, well, Brexit happened because of people like UKIP Farage. Well, Farage had a good idea, and he spoke with people like Wilders. Trump happened because of, well, whatever, but he spoke with people on the other side as well. These people are no longer the mainstream, let's fill our own pockets politicians. And that we haven't seen the end of. That Rutte has won doesn't mean that the people are open for everything. I'm going to tell you now and here, I'm going to make this promise. As soon as someone comes with a stronger idea on how to govern it, the VVD will be gone as well. Because the VVD is responsible for the destruction of most of the social healthcare system in the Netherlands. And people are recognizing that. The problem is, no one came up with a better idea yet, so no one voted them out. Don't get me wrong, I have no idea at all who would have been better. I won't lie. And I know Geert Wilders wouldn't have been better. So I'm not unhappy that he didn't win. That's not the point at all. But when people tell you that the PVV lost, think hard on why they want you to believe that the politicians are still well in power. Because there is something weird about that. Anyway, before I start having to issue out tinfoil hats, I'm going to end it here. Let me know what you think. Like, share and subscribe if you feel so inclined. And see you all next time.